private meeting, and so the members were simply standing in the middle of the room, vulnerable. Before she could react, everyone's ears pricked up as a handful of dull thumps echoed through the air. "Those are explosions," he said. "We're under attack. My queen." He motioned again toward the door. His instincts screamed to grab his liege and haul her away, but Khove knew better than that. Kaelin would just as likely hurl him across the floor as go along if he tried to herd her like cattle. "Khove, you and 2 others, go see what it is." Groaning, Khove tried not to betray his pain at her orders to do the exact opposite of his job. He glanced quickly at the other members of the council, then at his queen, as if to say, "Why can't they do it?" "Now," Kaelin said. At least she wasn't insisting on doing it herself. That was a small consolation. Khove snapped his fingers and took off for the huge copper-covered doors that led to the grand hallway and a straight shot out of the manor. 2 of his men followed. A moment later, he heard a 4th set of footsteps. Glancing over, he saw Kirill, the captain, had joined them. "My men are out there." Khove nodded. That was all the explanation they needed. The manor and its property were Kirill's responsibility to defend. Together, the quartet raced down the hallway in a blur, only slowing to cautiously exit the doors onto the grounds, where they were greeted by a sight new to Khove. "That's not good," he muttered. The sky to the west was illuminated. With the sun long having sunk behind the horizon, it should have been dark out. Instead, a barrage of light was striking against a massive golden barrier that only shimmered into existence when it was struck. "It's the wards," Kirill said, speaking what they all knew. The house had defenses against both physical and magical attacks. Wards were spells created over a long period of time, one laid atop the other in a protective layer surrounding the entire property. They were the result of years of hard work by many different magi, nearly impossible to defeat. Yet someone was trying. "Assemble the guard," Khove said, but Kirill was already speaking into his phone, issuing orders. "You 2. Get back to Nox and the Queen. Get her to safety immediately. Do not let her boss you around. This is real." Khove ached to go himself, but knew full well that Kaelin would send him back to the front lines. The Queen's Own were the fiercest, most deadly group of warriors available to defend the property, and he was their head. While the champion of the house was the best individual fighter, Khove knew he wasn't far behind. He would be needed. Reality ripped apart on his left, and the magi of the house stepped through, along with the aforementioned champion and the assassin. Alarm bells began ringing throughout the house. "We need to get there fast," Khove said. "We cannot wait for reinforcements." The magi nodded, dismissing the rent in reality he'd ripped to travel to their side from the throne room with one step. Then he closed his eyes for a moment and gestured. The sword in his hand glowed green and ripped another rent. "This one leads to the western wall. I'll leave it open. Tell your men to use it to get there." Then he stepped through it and was gone. Khove took a split second to steel himself, and then he followed the magi. Traveling through rents was less than pleasant, but there was no faster way to travel. His senses immediately recoiled. The sound of the magic being unleashed against the wards was 10 times more intense this close, and he stumbled, overwhelmed by the noise momentarily. The others quickly followed, 5 of them against whatever was on the other side of the stone wall. There were no signs of attack yet, which meant that whatever was coming, it was magical in nature. No army of Canaan came pouring over on all 4s, teeth bared and ready to render flesh from bone. There were no men from House Panthera either, the huge and deadly cats easily a match for a bear. No birds of prey stooped from above, which meant House Raptor wasn't present either. And, of course, no dragons could be seen in the sky, but he didn't bother to check. House Dracos was no more, as far as anyone could tell, the last of their members fading from the world over a century ago. Another blast of brilliant red energy coursed into the ward right in front of them, as if their unseen attacker knew they were there and waited.